Zillow just surveyed almost 30,000 home buyers, first time and repeat, and buried in the data is stuff that's going to change how you buy a house this year. One stat alone should really make you nervous if you haven't bought a house since before the pandemic. So I'm going to walk you through it, every bit of it, and by the end, you're going to know more than most agents in this town, if I had to guess. I'm Justin. I sell real estate here in Lubbock, Texas, and every year Zillow puts out this massive buyer survey. Most agents skim it for the headline and move on. I read the whole thing, and boy, I'm glad I did because there were some great nuggets of information. So let's get to it. All right, the first thing that jumped out at me, 84% of buyers still use an agent to buy a house. That number isn't moving, even with all the noise about buying without one. But here's the part that should worry you a little bit. Half of buyers hire the first agent they talk to. Half. Think about that for a second. If you're about to make the biggest purchase of your life and half of you are picking your quarterback based on whoever just answered their phone first, that's not a knock on you. That's just human nature when you're excited and want to get moving. But it's exactly why I tell people before you commit to anybody, ask them 3 or 4 questions about contracts, about negotiation, about what happens if the deal falls apart. You get it. You'll know in 60 seconds, I promise, if they actually know what they're doing or not. And speaking of what people actually want from their agent, this next part surprised me as well. And I've been doing this for quite a while. You'd think the number one thing buyers want is somebody to find them that cute house. Nope. Number one thing ranked by 57% of buyers, organizing and submitting paperwork. Second, helping them decide on what to actually offer. And third was leading the negotiations. Buyers are basically telling us, I can find the house myself on Zillow. I've got eyes, I can scroll. What I need you for is not messing up my parts where the real money is on the line, paperwork, contracts, negotiation, things like that. That tracks with something else in the report. A quarter of buyers now hire an agent only after they've already found the house on their own, just to close the deal for them. So if you're out shopping listings on your phone at 11 at night, which let's be honest, you are, that's fine. Just don't try to write the offer yourself or read a title commitment by yourself. Wouldn't recommend it. That's where an agent actually earns the check. Also, quick one for my first time buyers watching, y'all ranked finding a good inspector and a good lender higher than repeat buyers did. Makes sense. You don't have one yet. That's a whole network I can hand you on day one, and I've got the best one. And here's another fun one. 84% of buyers are more likely to view a home if the listing has a floor plan. I thought this was interesting, and almost half said they wasted time walking through houses they would have skipped if they had just seen the layout first. And scheduling. 2/3 of buyers want to book their showing online, no phone call needed. Gen Z is at 74% on that. So if your agent is still making you call landline to see a house, that's a 2015 problem in a 2026 market. This is why I use tools that let you browse a floor plan and book a tour without ever picking up the phone. If you want to see a house at 9 at night, because that's when you finally have time to look, you should be able to just tap a button. Okay, now let's talk about the thing everybody clicked on this video for, and that's money. So big number here, 74% of buyers said their agent's commission was fair and the work that they did was as well. Only 14% thought it was too high. But here's the part that bugs me a bit. Almost a third of people who haven't bought yet said they're scared to even call an agent because they think it'll be too expensive. And 16% flat out said they don't understand how commissions work. That's on us as just an industry. Nobody explains it, so people assume the worst. So let me just say it plain. The way I say it to every client, you don't pay me until we close. If we don't close, you owe me nothing. If you're a buyer, oftentimes the seller pays it. That's it. That's the whole arrangement. And about a fifth of buyers in this survey got a rebate from their agent after closing. And guess what? they were way more likely to use that agent again. Funny how that works. So here's the stat that should stick out with you. 92% of buyers got surprised by at least one closing cost. 92%, that's basically everybody. The biggest culprits: loan origination fees, appraisal cost, and insurance and taxes to fund their escrow account. First-time buyers especially had zero clue on where these were coming from. And look, I get it. When you're saving up for a down payment, you're thinking about that number. You're not thinking about the 3, 4, 5% that show up at the closing table for closing cost. So this is precisely why I sit down with every buyer early, not the week before closing, early, and go through a real closing cost worksheet line by line. If there's a rebate I can give you, we talk about using it to cover exactly one of these surprise costs. Nobody should walk into a closing and feel ambushed by their own paperwork. And to be honest, this is your lender's responsibility. If you don't understand each of your closing costs, then your lender didn't explain it to you. The exact lenders that I love and always recommend are the absolute best at communication. That is my number one thing I look for in a lender: communication with me and my clients. Last quick one, because I know a lot of you are wondering about this. 52% of buyers are putting at least 20% down, but younger buyers, Gen Z, millennials, are pulling that money from a mix of places: savings, gifts from family, even selling off some stocks. Almost half of Gen Z buyers got some help from family. So if you're waiting until you've saved every dollar yourself before you call me, you might be waiting longer than you really need to. There are more paths to a down payment than you think. A lot of down payment assistance programs. So here's the big picture. Buyers still want an agent, but they want one who handles the paperwork, fights for them in negotiation, and tells them the truth about closing costs before they ever get surprised. That's our job. That's always been the job. If you're thinking about buying a house here in Lubbock this year, drop a comment or send me a message, and I'll walk you through exactly what your closing costs would look like before you even write that offer. And y'all, please do me a big favor. And I hate being this person, but if you could subscribe, it would mean the world to me. And my promise to you is to always give you straight talk on the Lubbock market and anything real estate related that's going on here. Have a blessed week. I will see you on the next one.